Diagnosis is always the beginning, it's not the end. Some parents, they just say, my world just crashed. They just feel that it is the end of, whatever dreams that they had, but this is just the beginning. Learn from your child. It's not that you have to teach everything to your child. Many parents, we learn. I, as a parent, have learned many things from my son. You also have to remember that your child needs you. And the child doesn't need a perfect parent. The child needs you as a parent. People think that everybody who is autistic is like that. They have some exceptional ability, they have exceptional memory skills, they have photographic memory, but not everybody is like that. Go with the flow. Don't try to impose things into you, what you think should be, there in the journey at that particular point of time. Things will fall in place. Just give it the time.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to India Autism Center podcast, your trusted space where we share lived experiences, practical insights on the management of individuals with autism care. Today, we will be dealing with a very important topic. We will be talking about autism diagnosis and how parents they cope up with this diagnosis to carry their children a step forward to having a brighter future. For our expert insights, we have with us Dr. Ragitha Radhakrishnan, who is an expert in autism management and intervention as well as diagnosis. So, Ms. Ragitha, welcome in the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's a privilege and a pleasure to have you here.
I'm very happy to be here, and I'm very happy to be, here in India Autism Center, where you do a lot of work in this field, and I'm very happy that the world gets to know more about it through these podcasts.
So before starting this podcast, which I know will add value to the audience, please share a brief journey about your professional career and how does it align with autism management and care.
So I have a post-graduation and a PhD in psychology. I started my career as a therapist for children with autism in Kerala. So I was working as a psychologist in a speech and hearing center. So where I was dealing with diagnosis, with therapy, and with counseling for the parents. So that is where I started my journey. And then I moved into research, and then I moved into academics, but still counseling was always a part of my journey. And especially I used to deal with the parents of the children with different kinds of disabilities, even sensory disabilities, autism, all these children and their parents. So this is a field that is very close to my heart.
So Ragitha, when we hear the diagnosis, the term diagnosis, that really brings a lot of apprehension in parents of children who are in the spectrum. Yes. So going away from the books and everything, if you can elaborate, how a typical diagnosis looks like for a child with autism.
Yes. So diagnosis is, of course, it's an overwhelming, episode that happens in the life of a parent. So if you see the age, mostly if you see different studies, like they say from 3.1 to 5.1, that is the average age where a child gets diagnosed with autism. So I have had parents coming in on the day of the birthday of their child, because that is the day when the relatives would have told, okay, there is something different. So the child hasn't started talking yet. So why didn't you go and see a doctor? Why didn't you go and see a psychologist? So that is when they come, and then they get the diagnosis, and then there are different emotions that a parent may go through. So for some parents, it is a shock. They are like, how do I deal with this? Because many of them, they might not even have heard about the term autism. They haven't heard about any term related to autism, and because they never even thought of it. So that shock might be one thing that the parents may face. Sometimes it is a relief. Sometimes it is an answer, because they might have thought that there is something, but I need to know why this difference is there in my child. So for some people, it is a relief. So finally, I have an answer to all the questions that I had in my mind. For some parents, it is a fear. What do I do? How is the future going to be? How do I deal with this? Sometimes it is just a mixture of all these things. So these are the different emotions that a parent may go through, and it is normal. There is nothing wrong with you, and you can take your own time to deal with all these emotions. So that is very important. And you also have to remember that your child needs you. And the child doesn't need a perfect parent. The child needs you as a parent. So don't worry too much about, how is this going to impact? This is not how I thought my parenting journey was going to be. So don't let all that, be a big question mark in front of you. This is just the beginning. Diagnosis is always the beginning. It's not the end. Because, some parents, they just say, my world just crashed. they just feel that it is the end of, whatever dreams that they had, but this is just the beginning. So that realization is something that the parents need to have when they hear about the diagnosis. And there are different factors which determine when the diagnosis happens. Like mostly in the rural areas and all, if you see, the diagnosis may happen a little late. For girls it happens a little late. So there are different reasons to why the diagnosis may happen early or late. Awareness on the part of the parents, there are different things like that. And once you get the diagnosis, it is very important to cooperate with the professionals who are there. So you may have to there may be different professionals who are dealing with you. There may be a speech language pathologist, there may be a pediatrician, there may be a psychologist. All these people may ask the same questions also. Sometimes they may be repetitive questions. So you have to keep in mind that you have to cooperate with them for the better future of your child, for the better treatment plan that they are going to devise for your child. So that is very important.
To the viewers watching there, before we move into the next podcast question, please have a look at who we are.
Imagine a space designed not just to care for individuals with autism, but to empower them. A place where knowledge grows, support flourishes, and possibilities expand. This is India Autism Center. It is built to redefine how we approach autism. Through education, research, and community-driven initiatives, we create an environment where individuals with autism can thrive. Samavesh, our residential campus, is designed for individuals with autism to live, learn, and grow with dignity and independence. It is more than just a place to stay. It is a space to belong. Manan, our training academy, prepares professionals to provide specialized care. Through structured programs, we equip individuals with the skills to support neurodivergent communities with confidence and compassion. Khoj, our research division, is dedicated to advancing our understanding of autism. Through data-driven studies and collaborative research, we work towards shaping the future of neurodiversity.
Coming back to the next question. Immediately after an autism diagnosis, Ragitha, there are many apprehensions, there are many misconceptions that parents, they come around within themselves or from the society, right?
Yes.
So can you please come around some common myths, some common misconceptions that revolve around autism and being autistic?
Yes. So there are different myths and, stigma, whatever you want to call it, which are there around autism. One is that many people, they are very new to these terms. So some people, they think that all these are some kind of a mental illness, or everything is just like intellectual disability. But these are different conditions. And that is something that parents and the society needs to know. Like if you see the statistics, maybe 25% of the people who have autism have they have an intellectual disability, which is a comorbid condition with them. So, and there are many other comorbid conditions as well, but not every child who is autistic is also intellectually disabled. And they can go to schools, they can learn. So it is not that, okay, this child is diagnosed with a condition, so the child has to be at home, or the child only can go to a daycare center, or the child only can go to a special school. It is up to the parent. Some parents, they prefer to send the child to a mainstream school where there is an inclusive setting. Some parents, they prefer to go to a special school. It depends on the preference of the parents and also the ability of the child. So that is one thing. And talking about intellectual disability, there is also, like, when we see autistic people in the media, we see these autistic savants. So people who have some very, exceptional ability. So that is something that we see. So people think that everybody who is autistic is like that. They have some exceptional ability. They have exceptional memory skills. They have photographic memory, but not everybody is like that. There may be like 1 to 2% of the autistic people who have the savant abilities, but not everybody is like that. And some of them, if you see, we call it splinter skills. Some of them, they have very specific areas which they are very good at. So they may be very good with numbers, they may be very good with colors, or some automobiles, or some songs, or some kind of music, or they may be able to memorize certain things which has a particular rhythm. Some people, they think that autistic people cannot socialize. It is not that they cannot socialize, they have their own ways. So we have to keep in mind that they may require their own space. It is not that they can't have friends, they can't have relationships. They can have it, but they may need some accommodations. And people think that autistic people don't have emotions. They cannot connect emotionally. That is not the case. They may be more emotional than any one of us. But it is that they may express it in a different way. It is all about the differences. It's not about what they can't. It is just about how it is different. So I think these are some of the common myths. And one more very important myth is that autism is caused by vaccines. People generally say that, okay, it is because of this vaccine that you gave the child that the child got autism, which is not scientifically proven. It is very wrong to spread such kind of misinformation. And, some people even, they say that it is because of my parenting. And one emotion which is, generally felt by parents when they hear about this is guilt. So they feel that it's because of me, especially mothers. We feel that, okay, it is because of me. It is because of something that I did during pregnancy, or something that happened during childbirth, or something that I did wrong after the child was born. That is why this child is autistic. That there can be certain environmental factors that can be a precipitating condition, but not everything can be attributed to bad parenting. So these are some of the common, myths which are there around autism.
If you are watching this video and learning something new, please do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our video channel. We hear about this term early intervention.
Yes.
And it is said to be a very crucial aspect, for children who are diagnosed early. So what is early intervention and why is it so crucial and important in autism, in early autism management?
Yes. So for any condition, if you see, early identification and early intervention are very important. So the sooner you understand that the child may require some special assistance or some support, always go to a specialist. And then you can just check, what can I do at this stage? It may be as early as 1.5 years or 2 years. You feel that the child is not speaking, the child has not started, even talking in words, or the child is not, interested in interacting with people. If there is anything that you notice that you feel that some support could help, it is always better to approach a specialist. And then once you, once you start, the reason why early intervention is important is that is the time when your brain is really plastic. That is the time when you can actually bring about changes in the brain. The earlier, the better. So that is one reason. And it is proven that the earlier you start the intervention, the better the quality of life for both the child and the parent. And also, the earlier you start intervention, the earlier you start interacting with the specialists, the more connections you get, the more support you get from the environment around you. So that is the reason why early intervention is very important, not just for autism, for any condition for that matter. The earlier you start, the better.
So have you seen, individuals or rather children, because you have such, huge experience of working with children in the spectrum, that early intervention, it has really helped them
Yes,
in their journey?
definitely.
Can you please share?
Because, there were parents who came in very early, like when the child was 1.5 years, 2 years, they came. We don't give a formal diagnosis of autism at that age. So they come and they start with speech therapy. And, they have most of these parents who you see where the children have had the optimal outcomes. You see that the parents had complete trust in the professionals that were working with their children. So they used to be very religious in the way that they used to bring the children. Every therapy session, they would definitely come. They would cooperate. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, they will talk to the therapist. They will understand what was done. They will also make sure that they are, continuing what are the exercises which were done in the therapy session at home also. And many children, if you see, they didn't come up, have, they didn't, have the a severe condition later on. So it was very important to start the intervention as early as possible. And many children, by the time they are, 10 years or 12 years, if you see, these children, they are able to cope. They're able to go to a mainstream school. They are able to, deal with the other children. They're able to deal with their academics. So, and you see these very good outcomes in the children who have started with the early intervention, rather than people who came in very late.
You even spoke about multidisciplinary support.
Yes.
So, for children with autism, how does a multidisciplinary intervention it is beneficial, and how do the parents they find the right support from the multidisciplinary team?
So for an autistic child, it is not just one person who may be giving the support. You may have a pediatrician, you may have a psychologist, you may have a speech language pathologist, you may have an occupational therapist. All these people may be giving the support to the child. So, and a mistake that most of the parents they do is they think that, okay, I just want my child to talk. So I'll just go with, speech therapy. Everything else, I don't want to spend so much of money, or I don't want to spend so much of time. So they just focus on one thing. But, the more support the child gets, because we all focus on different areas. One, the psychologist may focus on working on the, sitting behavior of the child, or, how far the child is able to ask for something. The child is able to say that this is what I want. So that is what the, psychologist may be working on. But at the same time, the speech therapist may work on how the child may want to say that. Or, sometimes they may work on some misarticulation that the child has. So, there may be different areas that the different professionals may want to work on. So the support that everybody gives together has a totally different, impact altogether on the child. So multidisciplinary support is very, very important.
So related to this, Ragitha, nowadays we find there are really very, good therapeutic approaches. It's not only the traditional approaches, there are non-conventional approaches as well. A lot of therapies have come up. So how do we see that the child is not getting overwhelmed with the therapeutic burden? Because so many therapies, all are adding, to some kind of benefits. And even parents, they even do therapy shopping, right?
Yes, yes.
So how to guide parents who are watching there as to see what kind of right support, optimum support can be given to their child.
So this is again something that the parent can understand, because we know what the child is comfortable with, what is overwhelming for the child. So once you start a particular kind of a therapy and the child is, feeling very uncomfortable with that, the child is not able to cope, the child is feeling very tired, very, cranky all the time, then you can make your own decision. You can decide for yourself what is best for my child. And you can decide based on what the child is interested in. You can focus your therapies based on that as well. Some children, they're very good in music. Music soothes them. So in that case, you can focus on some therapy that has a music component in it, because nowadays music therapy is used a lot. Some places they use play therapy a lot. So whatever is, best suited for your child, the parent can also, take a call on what is best for your child and then choose accordingly. But it is always important not to overburden the child as well as the parent as well, because as parents, we always want the best for our child. There's nothing wrong in it, but always you have to keep the child also in your mind. You can't overburden the child.
Right, and especially for individuals who have difficulty in expressing this burden. So it becomes very crucial.
And you have to be curious in understanding what the child is trying to tell you, because your child may be non-verbal, the child may be minimally verbal. So sometimes the meltdown, or sometimes the body language can tell you something. So as a parent, you have to be very curious to understand what your child is actually trying to convey to you. So it may be that I'm not comfortable here, or this doesn't suit me. So that is very important.
A lot of times parents during the therapeutic session, they hear that focus on your child's strength. Do not focus on his needs or weakness. Focus on his strengths. So what does it mean, like focusing on a child's strength, and how important it is, when we are setting a goal, a long-term goal for the child?
So even if you see in the whole field of psychology, now there is a lot of focus on positive psychology. We always want to focus on the strengths of the individual. We are no more focused on bringing a person from a deficit state to an okay state. We are trying to bring a person from an okay state to a better state. And this applies for an autistic individual as well. They are no different. So we have to focus on the strength. So this, as I was telling you, there may be some children who are very comfortable with one particular object. They may be very interested in cars. So you can use that as a method to teach a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't think that, okay, my child is only interested in cars, so I should keep him or her away from that. I will, he or she is not like the neighbor's kid. So they are interested in books. So this child should also learn from books. You can teach that from the cars as well. You can teach colors using cars. You can use counting using cars. You can teach height or, size, whatever concept you want to teach. Or, if they like to memorize about cars, the name of the cars, let them do it. You have to understand that that child has that interest. That is the child's strengths. So using that, you can teach them something. It is not that, that is something that I don't want the child to do because that is different from what I expected my child to do. So you can't, force your interest or, your expectations on your child. You have to understand what the child is interested in, what the child is strong in, and based on that, you can teach the child and work on what the child wants to do.
So is it like following the child's path? The child will show us the path
Yes.
as to where the child wants us to take.
Yes. You can, you can take that as the direction. Yes, this is what works. And this is how I will deal with it. So that makes it easy for both the parent and the child. So if you're forcing something on the child, then there may be resistance. So if you're going with the child, if you understand, okay, this is what the child wants now, this is what is interesting the child, this is what is annoying for the child. So that helps you to plan your day, plan your activities, plan the food, everything. The child may have preferences. I like only, dal and rice. This is only what I want. I don't want anything spicy. I want only this. So then you can make the changes. You can't force anything on the child saying that, no, this is not, nutritious. Eat all these things. So forcing the child, that is not going to help. Slowly you can bring about the change. So you have to have the patience. It is very important.
Related to this again, this strength. So we get to hear this terminology, autistic erasure.
Yes.
So I want you to explain what is it to the parents, and also is it that or the strength of individuals who are in the spectrum, with course of time, those strengths, does it tend to get faded? So what can parents do to keep this strengths intact at the same time leading the child towards development?
So autistic erasure is one of the terms which you see a lot in the media right now. So it is where, many of the adults, it is not intentional, mostly unintentionally what we do is we try to fix the child. We don't, as I was telling you, instead of going with how the child would actually benefit, we try to fix the child. I want this child to be exactly like any other child, or my elder child, or my younger child, or my neighbor's child, or my, the other children that I know. So you just want to erase the whole autistic identity that the child has, which is not right. Because they have their own ways of understanding the world. They have their own ways of dealing with the world. So when you are trying to just think of any of us, if I tell you that, you can't wear this, or you can't talk like this, you have to talk only in this language, or you have to, walk only like this, which is not you, how would you feel? You would feel very not me. Right. So that is the same way that this child will also feel. So it is very important to respect their identity. It is very important to acknowledge their interests, what their strengths are. So instead of that, if you just try to say that, no, just, even if you don't talk, just, act like this, or, maintain eye contact, even if you're not comfortable with that. So all that will actually bring in a lot of, difficulty to the child. Okay, they may feel a lot and many of the people, if you see nowadays, we see people coming in with autism diagnosis at 30 years and 40 years. So, and these people actually, if you see, they come to the clinic with a diagnosis of maybe depression or anxiety disorders, because they were not allowed to be themselves all their life. They were like, okay, you cannot be like this. Mostly women, if you see, women are, the people who are having mild autism, they are quite good at camouflaging, so masking, and they, kind of manage. Okay, and most of the people, they will think that, okay, she's a very nice girl. She doesn't talk much. She is, she doesn't, try to interact too much with other people. She's a very homely, nice girl. So they grow up with this label. And later on, they understand that there is something that is troubling them. And they feel that they understand that there is something that is not them. They are acting in a way that is not them anymore. So that is exactly what an example for autistic erasure. So like that, again, in any child, if you say that, no, this is not how I want you to be, this is how I want you to behave, this is how I want you to act, this is what I want you to become in your life, this is what I want you to do, that is what we don't want here. Because you have to respect the child as an individual. Every individual has the right to be respected for who they are. And that is holds true for anybody, whatever condition they are going through.
So I hope parents watching there, they can relate with it, and to an extent they are getting empowered even. To the viewers out there, if you feel you're learning something new, if you feel that this video is meaningful and insightful to you, please do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our video channel. Looking forward, Ragitha, what are the future directions in autism care and management that you would like to share that the parents they should be aware of?
So, as I was telling you, our focus is no more on fixing the autistic individuals. We are trying to see how they can flourish. So, most of our approaches are going to see or going to find out how we can make their lives better. How can they have more meaningful lives? So that is going to be one major change that is already happening. So instead of just fixing them and then making them just look normal and that is not what our focus is anymore. We are understanding what their identity is. We are understanding what their needs are. We are understanding what what they what works best for them, and based on that we are going for personalized interventions. Again, connected to that, we are involving a lot of AI and all in our interventions nowadays. There are children who feel very comfortable with robots, having a part to play in their therapy. They are, they feel comfortable when a robot is teaching them. So we can use that. There is nothing wrong. So that is what is comfortable for the child, fine. And that is one way in which we can see a difference. And again, if you see, we are involving the autistic individuals in the decision making, in the policy making that is happening. So whatever decisions we are making for the individual, we are making sure that we have their perspective as well. So be it therapy, be it housing, be it the job that we are working out, the job opportunities that we are working out for them, we are trying to get their opinion as well. What works for you? How would you want this? What accommodations should we make in this? So that way we are including the child or the individual who is having autism in the decision making, so that it works the best for them. Like, who would tell what is best for you rather than you? So that is something that is, many of the, organizations are taking. And we have autistic people nowadays. If you see in many of the MNCs, they have autistic people in the decision-making process, because they come up with very different ideas on how a thing could work. So there are, people are understanding how differently and how innovative, how are the innovative ways in which the autistic people can think. So that is one thing. And nowadays there is a lot of importance that we give for parental well-being as well, because parents are a very important part in the child's journey. So we need to see how we can make the parents life better, what kind of care they need, what is the counseling that the parents need. So that is also a very important area of focus. So we focus not only on the child, because we focus on the whole ecosystem rather than only on the child, who all are part of the child's journey. They also need support. So that is also very important nowadays.
And finally, Ragitha, before leaving you, what would you advise to the parents who have received a very recent autism diagnosis for their children before they begin this journey?
As I told in the beginning, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. So this is where you start. This is where you haven't lost the child that you got. You are now getting the chance to look at your child through a different lens. So, and many parents, if you see, they say that after I got my child, after I got this diagnosis, I found a new purpose in my life. I found a new meaning to my life. I found that there are different ways. Now, after I got this child, this is now when I feel like I'm a mother. This is when I feel that I have value as a mother. So, all these may sound very fancy and all, but for a parent who has just received their diagnosis, it is shocking. It is it is a totally different route that you may have to take. Be prepared for that. You can take your time. It is okay to have all the emotions gushing in, and it is okay to ask for support. You don't have to take everything on your own head. Especially mothers have this tendency where I have to do everything, I have to take care, I have to, leave everything and I have to be with the child. Yes, your child needs you, but you have to take care of yourself as well. Your well-being is also important. Your physical well-being, your mental well-being, your emotional well-being is as important. So if you don't take care of yourself, you won't be able to give your 100% to your child. So you have to take care of yourself. You have to ask for support when it is required. And at the same time, you don't, you can't change everybody around you. Sometimes it is all right if somebody doesn't understand autism. You have to be an advocate for your child, but it doesn't mean that you have to change each and every person around you. You can't, convince everybody. You can't change the mindset of all the people around you. You don't have to take that also as one more responsibility on your head. I have to make everybody understand about autism. I have to make everybody accept everything. So that is also something that many parents feel that, that is also something that I have to do. How do I deal with this? If you feel that these are the people who are comfortable with knowing whatever you want to share with them, okay, that is your tribe. That is your support system. So you have to identify your support system, and you have to cooperate with the people who are contributing to the well-being of your child. You have to be open to what your child is trying to tell you. As I told you, be curious, learn from your child. It's not that you have to teach everything to your child. Many parents, we learn. I, as a parent, have learned many things from my son. So I would say he is one of my best teachers. So there is something that you can learn from your child as well. So make sure that you learn that what your child is trying to tell you. Sometimes you may learn a very big life value as well from your child. So what is it that is there to learn every day? Every day is a beautiful journey, and enjoy that. Go with the flow. Don't try to impose things into you, what you think should be, there in the journey at that particular point of time. Things will fall in place. Just give it the time.
Now, that was very powerful. That was very genuine and very powerful. Thank you so much, Dr. Ragitha, for
My
sharing
pleasure.
your deep insights into autism diagnosis and intervention. So, to the viewers out there, as Dr. Ragitha said, giving a diagnosis, it is not the end. It is just a beginning of a very power-packed, impactful journey. So if you feel you have connected with this video, if you feel that the video has really been very meaningful and insightful, please do not forget to hit the like button. Share this as much as you can so that others even they get empowered. And until our next video comes with such power-packed conversation and discussion, please do watch the video that is popping up on your screen. Thank you so much.